Tri-State's news and weather leader. This is 14 News.
8 hours and counting. The jury continues deliberations right now in the murder trial of Terrence Roach.
Roach, of course, is accused of kidnapping and killing Aaliyah Beckerly. Our 14 News team still at the courthouse as we await a verdict.
Beth Sweeney has been heading up our team coverage all week. And Beth, what's the mood there like right now tonight?
Well, Jackie and Randy, I can tell you with each hour that passes, we keep thinking we're going to hear something, but so far, still no verdict in this trial. Now, the doors behind me, back through there is where that jury has been deliberating now, as you mentioned there, for more than 8 hours. About 2 hours into deliberation, the judge brought the jury back into the court to clarify a couple of questions that they had. Now, I want to bring Kate O'Rourke in, who has been here with me all week. One of those questions pertain to some evidence that they had heard and seen earlier in this trial.
Yeah, they wanted to re-watch that video. It was almost an hour and a half, 2 hour video interview between Detective Melton and Roach from his second interview with him that had a lot of details. They wanted to re-watch that. They also wanted to re-listen to the 2 phone calls between Roach and his mom. So in order for them to watch and listen to that, they needed to go back into the courtroom for technology reasons. So they evacuated everybody from the public, escorted us down to the lobby, and we have been waiting here since that came just around 4 o'clock. They were in there watching that video, listening to those phone calls for about 3.5 hours, and then around 7:30 they moved from the courtroom back to the jury deliberation room. So they've been in there for about 2.5 hours, and we've just been waiting. The waiting continues.
Yeah, shortly after they brought them back into that deliberation room, we saw the judge walk out for a moment, for a few minutes, and then came back in with stacks of pizza boxes to feed the jury. So that's been a couple of hours ago. Still not much activity. We've been, of course, walking back and forth through the halls, asking some of the sheriff's deputies that are here doing security detail, but still no word just yet. I can tell you the court's building here closes at 4:30, and they told us if you want to be here for the verdict, you have to stay in the court's building. You will not be allowed to re-enter once the clock hits 4:30. So we've been here along with family and friends of Aaliyah Beckerly. I can tell you Aaliyah's mother, Kara, and sister are here, both wearing shirts with Aaliyah's picture on it, Justice for Aaliyah on those shirts. And we've also seen Terrence Roach's mother is here as well. So nobody has left. They're all here waiting in anticipation for that verdict to come down. Again, we're in a little over 8 hours now. We are going to stay here. We're going to keep you on top of this. We'll keep you posted here on 14 News, on the 14 News app, and of course online and on social. So we'll send it back to you.
Sure, too, seeing the court officials come out shortly after dinner, it was promising. A verdict might be close. I'm sure they imagined that. But we know, too, from past trials that these things can go well into the night, into the wee hours of the morning. And that pizza just fuel for those jurors while they work to come to that verdict.
Seems like they might be going all night. We've been on this case since July 17, 2016, when Aaliyah Beckerly went missing, so we're not going to leave it right now. Kate O'Rourke will be there until a verdict comes out, no matter when that is. And so we will push that out. If you've got the app, the 14 News app, you'll get that on your smartphone, and we will also stream that online. So we've got you covered all night tonight until that verdict comes in.
Clear skies now. We do have clouds, though, just to the south, and the significance here is that signals a change in our beautiful weather pattern here. We'll squeeze in at least another day or day and a half of sunshine and dry conditions before we begin morphing back into the more humid and active weather pattern. Right now, we're still pretty warm for 10 o'clock at night. Temperatures in the middle 70s. And don't think we're going to use the playground graphic much longer here, maybe through Friday. Temperatures on the playground there at the 77 to 80 degrees by the afternoon recess. Now, as we make that change on Friday, we will introduce a chance for thunderstorms, and we have an alert day for Saturday and Sunday. I do have some brand new information that's just in about the timing on those showers, and I'll have that for you in just a minute.
All right, Jeff, thanks. New information on the Walmart arson investigation in Union County. We shared the surveillance pictures from Morganfield Police, and they told us your tips led them right to Zachary Dalton Dennis of Henderson. And we're told authorities now know the name of the other suspect. They just haven't found him yet. Pair accused of setting a fire inside the Morganfield Walmart to distract employees while they rushed out the door with a cart full of stolen goods. We're told the smoke and water damage destroyed nearly everything in the store. Losses are estimated to be $3 to $6 million, and it could be weeks before the store reopens.
New at 10, there is a new way to fight human trafficking in Indiana.
Our stores are conveniently located to meet the needs of our friends, family, and neighbors, but unfortunately they are convenient to criminals who exploit other human beings.
Gas station owners are training staff to spot traffickers. Indiana's Gas Station Association announced that initiative today. Already, employees at 500 stores have participated in this training. Participating stores are also putting up hotline stickers in the restrooms, one of the few places that victims can get a private moment. New details tonight about the body and cruiser cameras that Henderson police will soon be using.
We told you about the purchase agreement last night at 10. We've learned now that these new cameras include cutting-edge technology. The body cameras look similar to a cell phone. A port will be built into the uniform shirt, making them more stable. Officers can tap the camera or activate it through a Bluetooth wrist accessory, but they can also be activated from headquarters. The cameras also have an automatic feature in the case of a foot chase, shot detection, or if an officer needs help.
To take as much off the officer that I could, to keep them from not having to worry about fumbling with their camera, because, I mean, if something happens, I want their focus to be on staying safe and accomplishing the task at hand.
Henderson PD will have the new cameras within the next 3 months. Some police cars will also get cameras, one facing forward, another pointed toward the back seat.
The man police say fired shots into a car in Evansville, killing one person, was in court today. 56-year-old Robert Ballard Jr. was arrested Friday for attempted murder. He's being held without bond, and in court, the judge ordered Ballard not to have any contact with one of the victims and a few other people. Police say Ballard shot a car that Amanda Weir and LaDonna Davis were in. Both were rushed to the hospital. Weir died Saturday. We're told Davis is still in the hospital, but doing better. Police believe this to be a domestic violence situation. 14 News has gotten a hold of the 911 calls from Friday night as well, and we've put those right now on our 14 News app.
I believe that people have finally taken this opportunity to say, well, we're going to make sure our voice is heard.
12 out of 20 teachers running in the Kentucky primary won last night. One of the most notable first-time candidate, R. Travis Brenda, defeating current House Majority Leader Jonathan Schell. Brenda is a high school math teacher in Rockcastle County. He was one of the thousands who went to the Capitol to protest pension reform and fight for school funding earlier this year. Brenda says his win is a sign of hope after the outrage during those protests.
A lot of people last night said, congratulations, you did it, and it was not me. There was a whole lot of people working behind the scenes.
Another teacher to win their race last night was in Ohio County, where Superintendent Scott Lewis won the primary for a state house seat. In Davis County, State Senate candidate Matt Caslin's election celebration is on hold.
Yeah, Kentucky State Police say his parents' home was vandalized overnight. Caslin lives right next door to them on Wrights Landing Road in Davis County. Several mailboxes were smashed in, as well as the Caslin farm sign cut down. Troopers tell us they're looking into the possibility that this is related to his primary win. Caslin and his mother say they were shocked something like this would happen.
If this is what happens after the primary, what's going to happen, you know, through the whole election season? So, and if he wins, what's going to happen then?
You know, the vandalism's one thing, but just somebody coming and physically threatening the same night of an election, that's what has concern for our family and our young kids.
KSP doesn't have any suspects at this time, but tell us they are planning to bring in a few people for questioning. New tonight, a Henderson ball club is out hundreds of dollars because of a break-in. Check out the damage to Henderson PCMA concession stand. Leaders say they found the damage and they think the break-in happened last night. They say the burglar smashed an upper window and then stole 8 bats like the one you're about to see right there, plus a case of Gatorade. The baseball league is for 5 to 10-year-olds. One parent told us whoever did this is really stealing from the kids. Estimated replacement costs around $600.
New at 10, a special celebration at Fort Knox that's been 100 years in the making.
Plus, a new study finds the best way to help kick a bad smoking habit.
News is sponsored by Kenny Kent Toyota, Indiana's #1 volume Toyota dealer. You're watching the Tri-States News and Weather Leader. This is 14 News at 10.
14 News is still at the courthouse tonight waiting for a verdict in the murder trial of Terrence Roach. Roach is the man accused of kidnapping and killing Aaliyah Beckerly. The jury started deliberations at 1:45 this afternoon. Around 4, they returned to the courtroom where they reviewed some of the evidence. They are now back in the jury room. We have a team there tonight, and we'll also get to them as soon as we get any new information.
Kilauea is tormenting people who live on the Big Island of Hawaii with lava bombs, blue flames, and poison gas tonight. It's been 3 weeks now since the first eruption, and the Hawaii volcano shows no sign of letting up. Residents are dodging lava flows as they rush in and out to check on their property. And they're seeing some strange things, too, like blue flames from the methane gas given off by burning vegetation. Also, lava bombs we were telling you about. These bombs the size of watermelons, and they're punching holes in people's rooftops. And where lava isn't a problem, cracks are. So are toxic gases. Many locals are now wearing masks to protect their lungs. When you say Fort Knox, a lot of people think of the vast safes storing our country's gold.
But all the focus today was on the post's 100-year military history. Scott Reynolds has the story, new at 10.
It began as Camp Knox in West Point, Kentucky, the name spelled out by thousands of soldiers. And today, with state-of-the-art helicopters and digital cameras, another picture was taken to commemorate all that has taken place on its more than 100,000 acres.
We've trained millions of soldiers.
It began training artillerymen for World War I.
Then in the 30s, we became home to mechanized cavalry, and that was the primary mission here for over 70 years, is the development of mechanized and cavalry in the armored force.
German and Italian prisoners of war were sent to Fort Knox during World War II, housed in buildings still in use today. And with community support so strong the entire last century, this centennial provided a great opportunity to say thanks.
It's an opportunity to bring the public in to see what Fort Knox is all about. We're right here in the middle of our historic district, so it's quite a celebration.
And on this picture-perfect day, a chance to capture the same pride that established the camp back in 1918, with predictions it will be here for the next 100 years, too.
Fort Knox is actually named after the nation's first Secretary of War, Henry Knox.
Well, what do you think works best in getting smokers to quit? Free e-cigarettes, nicotine patches, Chantix? Well, a study published in today's New England Journal of Medicine found that nothing works better than cold, hard cash. In a trial of 6,000 patients, paying people $600 triples their success in quitting compared to other methods. The study says even offering free e-cigarettes did nothing to help smokers quit. Smoking is the leading cause of preventable death in the United States.
You may not get a straw with your drink at the McDonald's in the near future. The company's shareholders are set to vote tomorrow to get rid of plastic straws after some 500,000 people signed a petition asking the chain to do away with them. The study finds Americans use an estimated 500 million drinking straws every day. That adds up to more than 46,000 school buses full of straws every year. Overseas, McDonald's is already testing new paper straws and moving them behind the counter.
20 homicides last year spurred a change in how the Evansville Police Department fights violent crime. We first told you about EPD's Viper unit back in January. In a special report that aired at 6, Paige Hagen showed us if this new approach is working to make your neighborhood safer. We've learned the unit has made nearly 300 arrests and taken 25 illegal guns off the streets. Vanderbilt County Prosecutor Nick Herman tells us the number of felony gun charges has surged 38%, even more for drug offenses, up 53% from last year.
They've started this new unit. Does it give you peace of mind that they're targeting people with guns?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Even though they have caught all 4 other people, they're still not going to bring my nephew back.
Watch our special report on demand right now on Roku or Amazon Fire.
The leader in tracking storms. Here's your 14 First Alert forecast.
As promised, I have some new data for you now. The models usually start spitting it out here around 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and it does support our decision here for the alert day, Saturday, Sunday. Still looking like some thunderstorms moving in. The new part of the data is that we're looking at an earlier arrival of some showers and thunderstorms by Friday night. And if you have the 14 First Alert app, you knew that at about 9:30. I pushed that new information out. But for the rest of us here at Friday night around 7:30 now, we're looking at the potential anyway for some showers and some thunderstorms to move across southern Illinois and into the tri-state. And then Saturday morning, things will fire up. Now, also the new part of this is it's kind of favoring more of an easterly region here for Saturday afternoon, which may bode well if you have outdoor activities planned in southern Illinois and southern Indiana up here. So we'll continue to monitor this, and obviously it's changing and morphing into what it will finally be, and you'll get that information just as soon as we have it on the 14 First Alert weather app. And just to keep tabs on it, you can check out that Alert Day and Memorial Day forecast, which will be up there all the time, so and updated as we get new data. So just keep checking, and you'll know when we know. Outside, we have a clear night out there. It is refreshing, even though it's 74 degrees. It feels a little bit cooler than that. I know we still have a feels like of 74, but with the lower humidity, it will be pleasant overnight. And then tomorrow, here we go again into the middle 80s, but it'll be a dry heat. We won't have a lot of humidity. Tomorrow, winds still out of the northeast, which will keep it delightfully warm out there. You see, though, we are just on the cusp of clouds and showers and even some thunderstorms there to the southwest, and even some severe weather that moved through Mississippi and Missouri earlier today. Now, what's going to happen is as our high pressure moves out, all of this tropical moisture will then push toward the tri-state, and this will carry us through the weekend with a continued threat for showers and storms. Sunday here looks like more of an area-wide chance for rain, while Saturday was favoring the east. Sunday looks like just about everybody will see some rain at some point. They're going to be pop-up showers, and there will be periods of sunshine too. Monday, still some question marks there. We didn't really resolve much with the new data here on just how much that rain will move to the north, and that'll be the next thing Byron will update. Starting tomorrow on 14 News Sunrise, here's a summary for you. It will get hot again too, 90s there by Sunday and Memorial Day.
It is graduation week in Evansville, but tonight we are not talking about high schoolers.
Today was a special pre-K graduation at Easter Seals Rehabilitation Center. Easter Seals helps pre-K kids with disabilities work on development skills to get them ready for school. Students perform several songs and dances to show their parents the progress they've made. Although it's an exciting time for parents, it's bittersweet for teachers.
Our teachers are very attached to their students, and it's great to celebrate those accomplishments, and it's sad to see them go.
Students were able to celebrate today with bubbles. They also walked away with their own graduation certificate.
A long night at the courthouse tonight, and we are awaiting a verdict in the murder trial of Terrence Roach. Roach is accused of killing Aaliyah Beckerly. That verdict could be soon. It could be still hours away. The jury has already been deliberating for more than 8 hours. We have had a team there all day, and we're going to check in with them for the latest in just a few minutes.
By state, this is 14 Sports.
Colt fever hit the town of Huntingburg this afternoon. The town was the scene of the 2018 Colts Fan Fest that saw the arrivals of star players T.Y. Hilton and Malik Hooker. Before the festivities, the two were greeted at Southbridge High School by the 2A state football champions, where handshakes, autographs, and pictures eagerly happened. But across town, a crowd was waiting for the Colts appearance as almost 500 fans waited in line to catch a glimpse of their two favorite players, with pictures and autographs as an added bonus. The small community was chosen as the site earlier this year, and you can guarantee the residents were happy to be hosts to the Colts.
You know, you've got an all-pro and a first-round draft pick, and you know, guys, certainly guys that our guys relate to and see on TV, and you know, maybe aspire to be, you know, in some respects someday. It's really been a dream season and a dream year in so many regards, and this really kind of taps it off.
It's amazing just to get this type of support. You know, I'm from Pennsylvania, so be down in Indianapolis and getting all this support from, you know, people that barely know me. You know, it's a great thing. It's a great feeling.
As Colts fans know, Hooker's season ended last October due to a torn ACL and MCL. But don't worry, he told me his offseason is going great and that things are looking real good. Well, USI softball is just 12 short hours away from Game 1 of the championship series in Salem, Virginia. The Lady Eagles face off at 10 a.m. tomorrow against only twice beaten and top-ranked North Georgia. Southern Indiana enters the tournament as the 8th seed, having gone 9-1 in the postseason so far. North Georgia is currently riding a 19-game win streak and returns to the tournament after being crowned the champs in 2015. And for Southern Indiana seniors, this tournament will mark the last time they gear up in a USI uniform. But in the words of one senior, it's not over yet.
As a career, I have had one heck of a career. Just because of all of the 2 championship series that we've been through, all of the different wins. I've only been here for 3 years, and I've got lists on of memories and friends that I can call at any point in my life.
I wouldn't want to go out with any other group. I've gone with these girls the past 4 years, and I'm going to miss them, but it's not over yet, so I'm just going to go out there and have fun and take it all in.
The Eagles are set for first pitch against North Georgia tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. The winner faces the victor of Angelo State and Westchester. The losers face off in an elimination game Friday afternoon. And congratulations are in order for USI seniors Drake McNamara and Sam Griggs, as both were named NCAA Division II All-Americans. McNamara named to first team as an outfielder, while Griggs earned honorable mention. They become the 14th and 15th Eagles named All-Americans in program history. 8th seeded USI faces off against top seed Florida Southern on Saturday in round 1 of the World Series.
Thanks, Bethany. And before we go, we want to go back out to the courthouse once more.
Yeah, we're waiting for a verdict in the murder trial of Terrence Roach, and Beth Sweeney's been out there all day with Kate O'Rourke, and so Beth, some movement out there tonight. Does it look like a decision could come soon?
It doesn't, Randy. I can tell you, since we first talked to you at the top of the hour here, that we did see Vanderbilt County Prosecutor Nick Herman come back into the courts building and go behind closed doors. That is the only activity that we've seen here in the last 20 to 25 minutes. Family is still here, along with all of the media outlets that have been here for hours waiting to see here. Just in a few minutes, we're going to be approaching the 9-hour mark waiting on the verdict in this murder trial. Now, as we told you earlier today, about 2 hours into those deliberations, the judge brought the jury back into the courtroom to clarify a couple of questions that they had. One of them being asking to review some of the evidence in this trial, that being the video interview between detectives and Roach, and also 2 phone calls between Roach and his mother that were recorded. So the judge did permit that, but in doing so, they had to go back into the courtroom to be able to view that material. So they escorted everyone out of here, the public, the media, everyone, and we are still in this hallway just outside of the judge's chambers here, waiting for any kind of word of a verdict. So we are going to stay on top of this for you as we wait along with everybody else for an update, of course. So be sure that you stay tuned here, and then of course to the 14 News app, and follow us on social media for any new developments as we are here approaching the 9-hour mark. Still no verdict in the Terrence Roach murder trial. Back to you.
And when it does come down, we are keeping a crew there, so we'll be able to stream it live on the web. So make sure you have your mobile app downloaded on your phone. That's where you're going to see it, and we'll alert you as soon as that verdict does come down.
We've got you covered, and we thank you for watching. Join us again for 14 News Sunrise, of course, online anytime at 14news.com and on the 14 News app. Have a great night.
Stay prepared when breaking news or severe weather happens by downloading the 14 News apps. This message is sponsored by Dean Bosler's Furniture, home of Bassett's HGTV Home Design Gallery. Live from the Tri-States News and Weather Leader, this is 14 News.
Right now at 10, dangerously icy roads across the tri-state after the first winter storm of the year.
And right now, you're about to take a live look from our 14 First Alert Interceptor. Many roads covered in ice and several inches of snow. Officials recommending drivers take it easy out there on the roads. Good evening, I'm Jackie Monroe.
And I'm Randy Moore. Our winter storm warning has expired, but not before several inches of snow. Eric Garlick is in the Weather Center. So, Eric, how much snow did we get, and will we see any more?
Well, generally looking around 5 inches with a few higher amounts across the tri-state, but anywhere between 2 and about 6 inches all across the tri-state. But the snow is out of the way, which is good news. However, we are going to be dealing with some treacherous conditions overnight tonight, thanks to some blowing and drifting and some cold temperatures that are going to prevent the salt from working as well as it could. 23 in Evansville, 24 in Owensboro. We'll see those temperatures dipping down into the teens as we head through the overnight hours. Take a look at these wind gusts, though. 30 miles per hour in Mount Carmel and Carmi, 29 in Evansville. That's making those feel-like temperatures even colder. Sustained winds anywhere from 15 to 25 miles per hour, and that will be possible through the overnight hours. So it is going to blow that snow over the roads, especially if they're wet. That snow is going to stick to it and turn to ice. But tomorrow morning, waking up to some cold conditions, calmer winds. However, we are in store for some bitter cold temperatures this weekend, plus more snow. I'll have the snow totals from today and tell you just how much we could see on Monday coming up in our full forecast.
Eric, thanks a lot. Well, the snow may have stopped for now, but it's the drop in temperatures and that wind. All that's what's going to cause even more concern overnight. Paige Hagan is live in the First Alert Interceptor. She's been tracking conditions throughout the day and night. Paige?
Hello, Randy. How are you? Well, we are on Interstate 69 heading northbound right now, and it is still treacherous out there, but some improvements have been made. We've noticed snow plowers have managed to get some pavement on the ground. So we are starting to see pavement and lane lines. So that is a major improvement that we've seen since this afternoon. Earlier, that 5 inches of snow accumulation on top of the ice. On top of that ice layer from the freezing rain last night made for some really slushy conditions, and it was a hot mess on the Lloyd Expressway and Highway 41. We were going up and down those areas quite a bit, and today we've seen major thoroughfares like the Lloyd and 41 in bad shape. Numerous reports of slide-offs and abandoned vehicles happening this afternoon, but things look to be improving, so we will send it back to you in the studio.
I've seen people having trouble at intersections trying to get through the intersection. I've seen people having trouble stopping. They're sliding everywhere. I normally don't tell people to get off the roads because of snow, but this is one of these events because it's snowing so heavy and so fast. I would recommend people who don't need to be out not to be out.
And Sheriff Dave Wedding right there telling us to take it slow because overnight, as those temperatures continue to drop into the teens, this entire layer on the roads right now is just going to freeze over. So it's going to be really treacherous again in the mornings. Take it slow, give lots of space. We are heading toward Evansville on a ramp. Ramps are really bad, clover leaves are really bad, so take it slow out there, guys.
Will do. Thanks a lot. Now, if you're out driving tonight or this weekend, AAA offers some good tips. Try to stay 8 to 10 seconds behind the car in front of you. And if you hit ice, it can take a long time for you to stop. Now, if you're going up a hill, try not to stop. Keep that momentum going. Avoid using cruise control and keep your gas tank at least half full so that you can keep your car warm if you get stuck. And of course, just slow down and take it easy.
Road crews and plow drivers have been working since early this morning to treat and clear those roads.
But there's nothing you can do about it except keep running your route and then come back and we'll go over it again.
We tagged along with a road worker in Henderson County. He drives one of several trucks out working to make those roads safer. He tells us drivers should be mindful of plows and give them space. He says they need the time to get everything cleared and ready, and it depends on several factors like the amount of ice, snow, and traffic. Across the river in Indiana, the Department of Transportation says they'll have crews out tomorrow. And if you're out on the roads, don't be surprised if you see one of those. EPD tweeted this picture this afternoon. The department has a fleet of Humvees they'll be using until travel conditions improve. They say they use the vehicles to respond to several slide-offs and crashes during the day.
No Humvees, but Owensboro police were still out helping with icy roads today. Shaylee Clark rode along with an officer as the snow came down.
I'm hoping just the more awareness has made people be a little more cautious this morning.
But officers still hit the road, ready to help when needed. Public Information Officer Andrew Bell says they generally increase patrol when the weather gets nasty.
We have a couple of detectives that actually suited back up in the uniforms and are going to drive around. We expect to deal with with more collisions. We expect to deal with more motorist assist in this type of weather event. So it's going to be not all hands on deck, but pretty close to that.
The roads were nothing but ice in some areas, but OPD only received a few calls for cars that slid off the roads. Why do you think it is that not many accidents have occurred today?
Well, again, I think most people have a healthy respect for this type of weather, for the condition that the roads are in. Most people are going to be more cautious when the roads are slick like this versus when they're completely clear.
Officer Bell also said he believes schools and businesses being closed today also kept people off the street this morning, which then reduced the number of collisions. Either way, he says the officers at OPD are always prepared when the weather gets rough. In Owensboro, Shaylee Clark, 14 News.
As the day went on, we started hearing of more and more slide-offs.
In Indiana, state police say they responded to more than 300 slide-offs from midnight to 8 p.m. And when those cars slide off and get stuck, it's tow trucks that come to the rescue. Drivers were busy with steady calls from people being stuck. One driver even came to the rescue of a semi. Robert Butler says it's a job you have to love.
When somebody runs off the road or has an accident or things like that, we're right there to clean up that and get them home safe and try to get ourselves home safe. Give me 1 second.
Butler says he was actually hit while on the side of the road several years ago. So if you're on the roads, be on the lookout for tow trucks as well. The snow and ice aren't keeping everyone at home tonight, though. We headed down to Franklin Street and found the Mascos filled with lots of people having drinks and listening to live music. The staff tell us even in the winter weather, they expect crowds to grow as the nights roll on.
It was a little slow this afternoon, but people are getting out. The music is going. We're having a good time. Later tonight, we got the Hen House Powers are playing. They start at 10 o'clock, and they'll be going until about 2 in the morning.
And not to worry, the partiers won't have to drive home. We heard from you, Cabby, who say they are open through the night despite the snow. They tell us so far today they've picked up at least 2,500 calls.
And while some bars are open like that, many businesses were closed tonight and will be again tomorrow. We're scrolling the list on the bottom of your screen. You can also find it on the 14 First Alert app. Well, this winter weather all but closed the Evansville airport today. Every flight was canceled, creating headaches for travelers. The snow was a little more fun for others who hit the hills to do some sledding.
You're watching the Tri-States News and Weather Leader. This is 14 News at 10.
A live look from our 14 First Alert Interceptor. Those roads only getting worse as the night goes on. Lots of snow and ice almost anywhere you go in the Tri-State. So be alert, be very careful if you're out driving tonight or this weekend, because there are so many accidents. Several law enforcement agencies say you could have to wait for help. The National Weather Service says it's a good idea to have things like blankets, bottled water, and a flashlight handy. Also, keep your gas tank half filled, so you can at least half filled, that is, so you can keep your car running and stay warm.
The messy roads in western Tennessee led to a massive pileup on the interstate. In all, 20 vehicles, including several semis, collided along this stretch of I-40. Afterwards, Tennessee's EMA announced a state of emergency on all Tennessee interstates. Authorities are asking people to stay off the roads there unless absolutely necessary. Poor road conditions in the Tri-State mean you won't get your paper delivery tomorrow. The Courier and Press and the Gleaner say they won't be delivering Saturday editions of the paper because of travel problems. And if you do usually get the paper, the Saturday edition will come with the Sunday paper.
Not just roads, this winter weather brought air travel to a standstill. All flights at Evansville Regional Airport were canceled, creating a headache for travelers. Kate O'Rourke has that part of the story.
An early morning and a long day for Ned Cowan. He thought he was catching a 6 a.m. flight to Atlanta until about 15 minutes before scheduled takeoff.
The captain came out first thing this morning at like 6 a.m. when we were supposed to leave and kind of told us the situation. But after that, I haven't heard anything else.
Waiting and waiting.
Everyone was waiting at the gate, and then they started to delay it, and since then, they've delayed it kind of each hour by an hour.
Around noon, a glimmer of hope.
All passengers, flight 1556 service to Atlanta.
Cowan and passengers going through security one final time.
So I'm going to get to Atlanta, it'll be all right.
Only for the flight to be canceled. Cowan has a place to stay tonight.
I have my apartment here in Evansville, so I'm fortunate with that. I don't have to get a hotel or anything. I don't have a car here, so I'll have to get a rental or something or an Uber again, but at least I have a place to stay.
Not all passengers can say the same. Garrett Solomon is trying to get home to Detroit. After a few delays, his flight was canceled. On the phone with the airline, he learned the next flight out isn't until 9 tomorrow night.
I'll figure this out as we go.
He says his next best plan is to brave the roads and drive a rental car to St. Louis to catch a flight home.
If it's got seats, I'll take it.
And some flights are already being impacted tomorrow. At EVV, 2 early morning flights are showing canceled. An American and United flight to Chicago and the early morning flight to Charlotte is delayed an hour. Many other flights still show scheduled, but just be sure to check with your airline before heading out.
And snow like this doesn't happen all the time, so when it does, you take lots of pictures. We love when you share some of those pictures with us. Check out this one we saw from the Vandenberg County Sheriff's Office. This is Deputy Chris Rowe, and he went on a call and learned that the person had just had surgery. So he filled out some paperwork related to the run and then shoveled the sidewalk on his way out. What did you take pictures of today? Send your shots to us at upload@14news.com, and we're going to show some of the highlights at the end of the show. Volunteers at Evansville's Dream Center helping out in the cold. They made sure that kids in the neighborhood got a warm meal on this snowy day. They made and served more than 150 meals today to kids in and around the Jacobsville neighborhood, so they'd be sure to have at least one nutritious meal.
I'm thankful that the Dream Center brought my kids meals by because it's really cold outside. The Dream Center is a good organization for the kids around the neighborhood, and my kids, they love going.
200 pounds of food was donated from the food bank for today. The Dream Center serves more than 300 kids a week, working to be a positive influence in their lives.
A look now from our Lloyd Expressway sky cam. A quiet night on the roads. The snow has passed, but could we see more? Eric Garlick is working on the first alert forecast.
Here's your 14 first alert forecast.
Taking a look at the winter storm warning, it has expired for most of the tri-state. Our eastern edge still underneath that winter storm warning. However, the snow is out of here. We are going to be dealing with some treacherous travel, snow blowing and drifting overnight tonight. 29-mile-per-hour wind gust in Evansville right now, 30-mile-per-hour wind gust in Mount Carmel and Carmi, 31-mile-per-hour gust in Owensboro. Take a look at these sustained winds out of the north and northwest at around 15 miles per hour in Evansville, 21 miles per hour in Mount Carmel, 18 miles per hour out of the northwest in Carmi. So all the snow that did come down is going to blow around a little bit. Makes it a little bit hard to tell just how much snow we did have, and definitely is going to make those roads treacherous through the overnight hours. The good news is the snow has stopped, and take a look at what it does for visibility. Looking at all the visibility back to in pretty good shape. Taking a live look along the Twin Bridges, you can see just had a snowplow truck actually dumped some salt across the southbound bridge. We'll probably see that coming back across the northbound bridge, but starting to see a little bit of pavement on the roads and starting to see speeds pick up a little bit across the Twin Bridges and on the Lloyd Expressway. Starting to see those crews being able to catch up with the snow now that it isn't coming down anymore, but still going to be dealing with some treacherous travel overnight and likely through the morning hours tomorrow. Here's where the snow is right now along 65 from Louisville back toward Bowling Green. Elsewhere, dealing with just cloudy skies. That's how it's going to be as we head through the overnight hours. We'll hold on to that cloud cover. That's going to help temperatures keep a little bit warmer than what they could get down to. We'll bottom out in the teens as we head through the overnight hours, and we'll see that cloud cover with us through the day tomorrow. Here's a look at the snowfall totals. This is preliminary at about 8:45. I took all those snow totals that we did have. Generally looking at areas seeing 3 to 5 inches. We did have a couple 5.5 inch marks near Evansville and into Henderson, but generally 3 to 5 inches is a safe bet. Closer to 5 inches across most of the tri-state, especially across southwestern Indiana and western western Kentucky, a little bit less as you head up toward Flora only, as well as Fairfield. But pretty good dosing of snow after some ice that we did have last night. Ice totals were a little bit lower end of the forecast, and that's why we saw those snowfall totals a little bit higher in the forecast for what we had yesterday. Cold tonight, though, 23 in Evansville, 22 in Newburgh, 23 in Greenville, 24 in Owensboro, Tell City at 25 degrees. Factor in those strong winds. Feels like 9 in Henderson, 7 in Mount Carmel, 11 in Oakland City, 8 in Carmi, 10 in Owensboro, and 19 in Tell City. Fast forwarding to midnight, everybody dealing with single-digit wind chill temperatures overnight tonight. Even a few of us dipping down below 0, especially across Illinois. Fairfield feeling like 1 below tomorrow at 6 a.m. By 10:30, we'll see single digits and then low teens as we head through the afternoon. Definitely going to feel cold tomorrow, especially with that nice blanket of snow on the ground that we had today. As we head toward tomorrow night, looking at those single digits popping up, and we'll be close to below 0 once again as we head into Sunday. For tonight, we'll see the snow pretty much out of here right now. A few light flurries will still be possible. North winds 10 to 25 miles per hour. It will be windy through the overnight hours, though. A little bit of wind tomorrow morning, only warming up to about 25 degrees. It's going to be cold, well below average. And now we're tracking our next snow system. This is Monday morning. You can see the snow setting up from Indy over towards Cincinnati, but the big snowmaker for us will come through late Monday afternoon into early Monday evening. You can see these darker bands of snow moving through the tri-state during the afternoon and evening hours. We could see 1 to 3 inches. Early forecast totals looking at 1 to 3 inches of snow. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. And the snow we got today, not going to go anywhere. Going to be cold all weekend. 25 degrees tomorrow, 24 on Sunday. We'll warm up to near freezing on Monday, but we'll see another blanket of snow, 1 to 3 inches again. Early estimated forecast for that. And then we'll see some cold weather returning on Tuesday with highs around 15 degrees, single-digit lows, and then we'll stay well below freezing for Wednesday and Thursday, but warming up a little bit as we head into Friday.
Once or twice a year, kids in the tri-state get the chance to do that. Take a tube down the hill on some fresh snow. Today was certainly one of those days. Most tri-state students had a snow day today from school. Here in Evansville, some hit up Wrights Hill to have a little fun.
And a different kind of ice, but the Thunderbolts were in action tonight looking for a win as the playoffs inch closer.
State, this is 14 Sports.
Well, the weather impacted everyone tonight, including local sports teams, with a lot of games canceled and postponed. One game that was still on was up in Peoria, Illinois, as the Thunderbolts traveled to take on the Rivermen. We'll pick it up in the first period. The Bolts on the power play. John Scorsha will finish this one off for the 1-0 lead. Bolts coming out hot in this one. Peoria, though, responds less than a minute later. Nick Miglio tucks it home on the rebound. It's a 1-1 tie game. Into the second period, Scorsha with it again goes backhand top shelf. The Bolts regain the lead on top 2-1. Now with just 6 minutes to play in the second, Bolts on another power play and toss the hats. Dylan Clark passes it across the goal mouth. Scorsha with his third of the night. The Thunderbolts leading 3-1. Now into the third, Bolts leading 4-3, but Peoria barks right back. Cody Dion with the redirect to make it 4-4. This one would go into a shootout. Peoria got the win 5-4. They'll rematch tomorrow night at the Ford Center. The Owensboro Red Devils boys basketball team has 6 seniors on the squad this season who've really taken charge of the team. They lost their second and third games of the season, but since they've been on a roll with a record of 13-4. The older guys have really set a good example for the younger ones, and they're really starting to gel and play unselfish basketball. One senior, Deontay Douglas, has really stood out. He was the 6th man on the Owensboro team that won a state championship back in 2015, and he knows what it takes to bring home that hardware.
I got to see, what it takes, to be a state contender. Selflessness, you got to just work really, really hard, and I feel like if we keep working, we might be able to, get back to Rupp.
They saw the work ethic, what those guys did. They saw what the time that they put in it. They saw what the locker room was like. They saw what the bus rides were like. So, and they saw, and most important, they saw what the results were. So then now they know. So it's nothing I have to preach to them. They've seen it.
The Red Devils were one of the teams that were supposed to play tonight, seeing Muhlenberg County, but that game was canceled due to the snow and ice. Their next game is slated for next Tuesday as they welcome in Grayson County. Moving to a little NBA action as the Pacers hosted the Cleveland Cavaliers first quarter. 6-4 Pacers on top, but the Cavaliers would go off from there. A 22-0 run, and that would give them a 26-6 lead. But the Pacers would battle back in this one. Fourth quarter, Cavs up by 2. Victor Oladipo pulls up, buries the 3. Pacers up 96-95. 5.5 seconds left. LeBron James gets the inbounds pass, drives baseline, but steps out of bounds. That turns it over. They did review the play. After review, the call stands. 96-95, Pacers still on top. So we've got 1.4 seconds left. Love with the inbound long pass to James, who puts up the running fadeaway 3. It is off the rim. The Pacers complete the comeback, winning it 97-95. That was a big win, huge game.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Megan. And it's now time to see how people across the tri-state spent their snow days. Look at these. In Chandler, it was baby Jace Helm's very first snow. His mom, Risa, sent this picture to us. Cute little guy there. And 5 inches of snow, probably knee deep on him, wouldn't you say? And Steve McCreary, he's in Petersburg. He was watching birds today, and those birds were watching the snow. Look how bright they are against that white snow. Then it's time for dessert at Kat Connor's house. Her boys are having blueberry snow. It's probably a once or twice a year thing. Meanwhile, Birdie Davis picked up his phone and snapped this picture of his wife. She was shoveling her sidewalk at her work this morning. Look at her face. She's like, put the phone away, grab a shovel. Help me out here. And then there is Jenny Campbell's picture of her daughter. She says, if you can't beat the snow, join it. And that sounds like a good idea to us, as long as you bundle up like that, right? Stay warm. And we still want your pictures. Go ahead and send us more to upload@14news.com, or you can send them through our 14 News or weather apps.
She had the right gear for the snow, didn't she?
She did.
Looks like everybody's in good spirits, kind of dealing with the snow. Unfortunately, it's not going to go anywhere if you don't like it. We're going to be dealing with some cold temperatures. We'll see temperatures in the mid-20s tomorrow and Sunday before we see another round of snow. Could see 1 to 3 inches, still early in the forecast, but that's what we're looking at right now. And then even more cold on Tuesday with a high of 15 degrees. But we do have a day above freezing. Unfortunately, it is next Friday. A lot of unfortunately there. Exactly.
Long-term goals, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to be, but if you do like the snow, it is going to be nice to get out and play. But not very good snowman making snow. Didn't see a whole lot of snowman pictures.
No, it's too icy.
Absolutely.
All right. Eric, thanks a lot. We thank you for watching, and join us again over the weekend. And have a great weekend and a good night.
Stay prepared when breaking news or severe weather happens by downloading the 14 News apps. Stream live anytime and get alerts for breaking news, weather, and sports.